Welcome back to the channel. Today I will be discussing how to care for the English ivy. English ivies are a really popular houseplant. At first they might seem like a tough plant to care for, but once you get to know their care a little bit, then they become really easy to care for. So with English ivies, there are tons of different varieties. I'm not going to bother to name them all since there's so many, but I will put up a picture on screen to show you just how many varieties there are. Many people will think that these plants need lots of water, but in reality they don't need much water at all. The biggest cause that might be a problem is root rot. So it's always better to underwater a plant than overwater, because if you underwater it, then you'll be able to tell really easily what's wrong with your plant and give it more water. But if you overwater it, it might be harder to diagnose what the problem is. Plus, overwatering will kill your plant easier because it damages the roots themselves. So in my experience, just water less frequently than you'd think you'd need to. But you can also tell by sticking your finger into the soil about 1 to 2 inches in, and when you take your finger out, if there's soil attached to it, which means it's still moist, then don't water. Just wait until the top 1 to 2 inches are dry. That's when you'll know that it's time to water your ivy. My ivy, I water it once every couple of months because this is a big volume of soil, which means it takes a while to dry out and for the plant to get thirsty. So I pretty much just wait till the soil gets bone dry. Like I said, I tend to underwater rather than overwater because I'm really hands-off and I don't pay that much attention to my plants, but a lot of plants thrive under neglect, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Plants are really hardy, so don't need to worry about killing them easily unless you just naturally have a black thumb. But you can always remedy that situation fairly easily with a bit of knowledge on basic plant care. Although English ivies, they don't like their soil although English ivies don't like their soil overly wet, they do really like humidity. So if you don't have a humidifier or something like that, then you can just place the plant under a plate or something that has pebbles in it, and that just set the plant on top of it, and that should raise the local humidity around the plant. Just be sure to make sure that stays filled up because the rocks will help with evaporation and cause it to evaporate quicker. Everybody's environment is different, so your plant may not need humidity just based on the average humidity of your house. I found that I don't need one, and my plants are perfectly fine without it. The average humidity where I live is around 40 to 50%, so I don't worry about a humidifier because I don't have tropical plants. Well, I do, but not tropical enough to need a humidifier. English ivies aren't very picky about their lighting. They do prefer bright to medium indirect sunlighting. They can also deal with low levels of sunlight, but they'll eventually die if they don't get enough sunlight, like over and underwatering. In this case, it's better to make sure that they have more light rather than less, just because you don't know the average what the plant needs exactly. So I just prefer to put them under brighter lights like a grow light or in a window, not with direct sunlighting because that'll burn your plant's leaves, but indirect sunlight is always best. I originally got this English ivy from my sister. It was not thriving under her care, to say the least. Its leaves were going brown and dry and falling off. It was dying overall, and I figured out that it was because it was on a windowsill. It got indirect sunlighting all day, which was good, but the window was drafty, which caused the soil to dry out incredibly quickly, even with this volume of soil. So she had to water it every couple of days, which she did not do, and so it was dying because of it. Browning leaves that turn dry and fall off is a sign of overwatering, but in this case it was underwatering. Just if your plant's leaves are turning brown and dying, just check the soil. If it's dry, then it's underwatering. If it's wet, then it's probably overwatering. This is just a generalization though. Anyways, my sister gave me the plant I watered it more. It wasn't in a drafty window anymore, and I put it under some grow lights, and within a couple months it just really took off, and it's been flourishing ever since. So yeah, it's really easy to take care of these plants just with a bit of water and care. Like I said, they flourish under neglect, so these are pretty hands-off plants, which is personally why I really like them. And they're actually one of my favorite plants, aside from like spider plants and snake plants. Pretty much all the easiest plants to care for are my favorites. Not because they're just pretty, but because they don't require that much attention. These plants are also really pest resistant, but if you underwater them, then the plant will become stressed, and that can cause a problem in the future if you have like a pest outbreak or something, because that will lower the plant's natural defenses and potentially cause like a mealybug infestation. So just be careful when watering. Place the plant in direct sunlight, and it'll just take off and flourish, and that's why it's one of my favorite plants. Anyways, so that's pretty much ivy care in a nutshell. If you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Bye!